Hi there, my name is Claudia and I'm a fourth grade teacher. Tonight is open house for us. And so in today's video, I'd like to give you an updated tour of my classroom, as well as what I do to prep for this evening. It is my lunch break. This morning I had two IEPs that pretty much took up 2 hours of my morning. So I'm kind of in a mad rush to get things done. My students are dismissed at 1:23 today. It's early dismissal and it's for professional development and any staff meetings. But our boss has been kind enough to let us kind of prep for open house because it will be a very long day for us. When I say open house, I know that some school districts only have a back to school night. We have 2 nights for parents, back to school, where you're meeting your teacher for the first time and getting to know your students and your parents. And then we have a spring parent night, which we call open house. I think of this evening as a culmination of fourth grade, and it's the students' responsibility to tell their parent all that they've learned throughout the year. So for my open house, I have students give a classroom tour. This is my checklist of different things that I want my students to complete. So this is one of the activities on that checklist. It's my writing board, and this is an opinion piece of writing. I gave feedback on their writing, as well as they have a rubric behind their writing that is a rubric from the Smarter Balanced Assessment. I kind of condensed it so that it would fit on one page, double-sided. When you print these out, they actually have like 3 pages long, and I didn't want to print out that many pages. Now we have the Road to Independence. We use Amplify as our reading curriculum, and we've been reading about the American Revolution. So I have this bulletin board set up with the beginning of the French and Indian War all the way to their road to independence. I had students write a Colonial Times, a newspaper, as if they were there. So this will be the next activity that students will talk to their parents about. They will read their editorial and then their opinion that they gave. They will also talk about what they've learned about the road to independence. So I like having this classroom tour checklist. It gives students ownership of their learning, as well as having that conversation with their parents that they may not have when they go home. So this is our data chat board. I just updated this board, and it consists of the interim comprehensive assessment in ELA. I gave students their data, and then they set up goals for themselves from here until test taking time. We begin our assessment April 28th. So I told them they still have time for improvement. They still have time to ask any questions that maybe they did not understand in the test, and is something that we can work on in small group instruction. So up above, you see my pop art masterpieces. We were learning about Roy Lichtenstein. I'm hoping I'm not butchering his name, and I apologize. And it was The Bold World of Pop is what I called it. I try to do at least one artist a month, but I know that sometimes my students need that de-stress, and I feel that art provides that for them. And they drew themselves in comic book like form. And it was his paintings. If you really take a look at his artwork, there's what they call Ben-Day dots. And in the past, I've had students where they use Q-tips, and that took a long time. And then I tried bubble wrap, where I would cut a square and they would dip it into the paint and then put the bubble wrap on top of the paper to make those dots. That became messy. And then I realized I can just use excuse me, stickers. So I have 3 different colors. Students were to pick 2 colors and then kind of spread them out in certain spaces, and they would be side by side. And they also wrote a little something in their speech bubble about what they're good at. And they will be talking to their parents about how they created this artwork and what they learned about the artist. Over in this area behind me, I have photos from the field trip that we took. We went to Irvine Railroad Park, and they focus in on California history um, during the time of the gold rush. So I have pictures from that trip that students are going to discuss with their parents. They're going to talk about their favorite activity that day. There was many activities, from a train ride to panning for gold, learning about the boom town, going into a mine. And so this is one of the activities that I have on my checklist for students to complete as well. And last but not least, I have these open house portfolios that I place on the student's desk. I have student mail here that consists of classwork, homework, any previous work that was on the bulletin boards that wasn't given to parents during parent conferences. I put it together, I place it on their desk, and they can take that home. I'm not doing anything extra for myself. I'm just using construction paper. I cut it up to make a folder, and their work will go in here. Now we know that attending classes plays two roles in Well, it's getting close to 6 o'clock. I'm going to start wrapping it up. It was really nice to see students and their families engage. I also had some former students come and say hello, and it was nice to see them. They're looking so grown up. Well, have a great evening and see you next time.